Ooh. Oh man, that's nasty. That is bad. As you can see, the inside of the tank is just full of rust. And not just a little bit, it's a lot. It's really bad. Yeah, I don't think I'll be using this. I was hoping I could just clean this out and make it work, but this is too far gone. Here's the factory fuel pump pickup assembly, I guess you'd call it. I don't know. Fuel pump assembly. I just removed the pump and the wires, and I'm gonna attempt to clean this up to where I can use it, and hopefully just weld a fitting in here and run a tube down to the original pickup location and just use this for my fuel pickup, assuming that I can get this clean enough to use. So we'll just see what we can do with it. Here's my fuel tank pickup that I just finished making. It doesn't look too great because I had to use galvanized pipe, and that just doesn't weld very well. But that's all I could find, and so I just had to make it work. And I think it'll work. I know it's sealed up, so that's what matters in this situation. I just don't want any air leaks. It doesn't matter about structure. So this line is going to be my oil or my fuel pickup. The center line is going to be injection pump return, and this outer factory line is the Holley blue pump return. That way I won't ever be deadheading blue pump, and it'll just be a smaller line. So that'll work pretty well, I think. We'll see how it works. And so I'm running 3/8 line for the feed and 3/8 for the return, except for a foot or so on both lines at the injection pump because those fittings are smaller. Yeah, I'm going to try a Holley blue pump. I think it'll work okay. I think it'll have the right pressure for what I'm looking for. So this barb over here is the inlet to the pump. This comes from the fuel tank, obviously through the pump up to the regulator. The right side of the regulator is going up to the filter and then to the injection pump. And the left side, which is a 3/8 or a quarter line on the left side, is the return back to the fuel tank for the blue pump. So at least it will always cycle some fuel and keep it running a little cooler. The right line is 3/8 fuel line, so should get some decent flow up to the filter. Use some U-bolts here. And this is just going to go around the frame rail, and then I welded this flat bar stock across just to have something to mount the pump and regulator to. So ended up making kind of a nice little assembly here that should be pretty easy to install. So here's a new fuel tank. Nice to have a tank that's not full of rust. Nice and clean, help keeps the pump clean. I know I'm starting off with good parts. The fuel pickup and return lines come into this middle box here, so that kind of is going to help keep the pickup submerged, which is going to be good for sure. Alright, I just finished the fuel system, or at least I think I'm finished. We'll see. Shouldn't be any leaks, everything's tight. So there's a new fuel tank. We've got the feed and return for the Holly Blue pump right here. This one's obviously the feed, that one is the 1/4-inch return line. There's the pump, outlet from the pump up to the regulator. Left side's the return on the small line back to the tank. Right side goes up to the injection pump. And here up top is my wiring harness. And I'm pretty happy with where everything's routed right now, but I may end up changing the routing on some of the hoses later if I need to. I'll just have to use it for a while and test it and see how it works. But I think it's going to be pretty good. We'll see. And here's what the fuel system looks like under the hood. Got my wiring harness here, feed and return lines coming up here and around to my filter element. So this is the end, or the pressure side into the filter, and this is the outlet to the high pressure injection pump. Got a gauge so I can watch the pressure. If I record the pressure that it is with a new filter at normal operating pressures, then I'll know when the filter's starting to get clogged or if there's other issues. So it goes out here and around and over to the injection pump, and I reuse the clear hose from the VW setup, and then that's the return from the injection pump, and that goes back directly to the tank. Alright, I'm going to use a power probe here and send power down to the fuel pump and see if we can get a prime. Oh yeah.